Good afternoon.
So again, my name is Scott Burke. I'm the AC Cloud Solutions Program Manager. So I'm just one of our key people, the key liaison between Autodesk and our sales and technical staff around the Autodesk Construction Cloud here. Been with Imagine in just over 20 years now. So a little bit about Imagine. So again, we're one of the largest resellers, if not the largest in North America, with a large footprint, offices all over the country and Canada, as you can see here. And again, our actual parent company is ran worldwide. Imagine it, though, is actually the largest part of the company and really our Autodesk wing of things, but we do a lot of other things, including manual creation, support center, ran our simulation software, ran 3D. We work with a lot of other non-Autodesk products as well. We also support and sell the Leica laser cameras or laser scanners and such and so on. So we have a whole host of things that we do across the construction, architecture, engineering, and the mechanical side and manufacturing as well. So today we're talking about really the Construction Cloud or the ACC app, which I feel like it's something we always say that it's there, but we never really present much on the app itself. So we felt that we should have a presentation that's really focused just on that, because it's a really powerful tool and it's definitely something that everyone can leverage and use out in the field, and really having your data at your fingertips no matter where you are, and that's what it's really all about. So again, recap here about, of course, the Autodesk Construction Cloud, which is that unified platform for AEC project delivery. And again, Autodesk had some independent solutions, BIM 360, other tools that they had, and they also acquired PlanGrid and Assemble systems and a host of other tools. So Autodesk has been investing in these technologies that they knew that that was the direction they wanted to go. They really wanted to create this one environment for everything from design through construction. So they purchased these programs. They were connected. They had integrations, but they weren't really fully integrated, right? They were just, you're pushing data back and forth. So 3 years ago, they introduced a unified platform where they basically took everything and unified everything into one common environment, so that as they acquire new tools, they design this environment so that tools can be incorporated into it. So we have one place to go, one general interface for pretty much all of the key products. So again, everything from design through planning, through building, and even getting into operation and facilities management. And again, the key products here, of course, are Autodesk Docs. That's the foundational tool for the document management aspect. Then there's BIM Collaborate, Collaborate Pro, Autodesk Takeoff, and Autodesk Build. And all of the things I mentioned there, except for maybe Takeoff, really all use or can leverage the Construction Cloud app. So again, this is an app built for the field. That's what its main purpose is. So you can be out in the field and you can access Autodesk Docs can use this, Collaborate, Collaborate Pro, Autodesk Build can all leverage this app. So that's why I did want to talk about this a little bit here about, well, what tools can use this? So when we look at Docs, which is that lowest kind of thing on the food chain there, and both Docs and really BIM Collaborate Pro, it's pretty much the same. It would be, files and folders, and you can mark up PDFs in the field that are in the files area. That's one thing you have on the Autodesk Docs side of the equation. And of course, Collaborate Pro. You can see all the issues in any of the platforms from Docs all the way through Build. So that's an important aspect of things. And the meetings and correspondence tools are actually also available to the BIM Collaborate Pro users, so they can use the app to access the meetings or the correspondence tool. So you look through the list here, you'll see correspondence and things are also part of what they can access. But everything else in Build, of course, is only for Autodesk Build, right? The sheets, the forms, the assets, the RFI submittals, photos, schedule. All of those things are, of course, only going to be for the Autodesk Build app. So I just wanted to kind of set that stage. So even if you just have Docs, you can still use the app to see the files, see the models in the field, and you can actually create issues and markups on PDFs in the Docs environment. So if you're just a Docs or Collaborate Pro user, you can somewhat use this still in the field for those aspects of it. But again, what I really want to focus on today, of course, is the app. That's what I'm going to do right now. So let's close that down here. And so I will go ahead and I can open up my app now here. So it's the ACC app. It used to be called the Plan Grid Build app for a few years just to help people transition. But now it's basically just the Autodesk Construction Cloud app. And I go in. Now, if you haven't logged in yet, it'll ask you to log in, of course. And then if you don't have your project on the app, then you would just do a search here for it. And I could do a search for whatever project I want, search for that, it comes up, and then you load it. Now, in this case, when you first load it too, you'll be given some download options. So the purpose of this is to help manage space on your tablet. So first of all, for sheets, do you want all the sheets, the current sheets only, or no sheets at all? You're not using them, you don't need them, right? So again, if you're running out of space in your tablet, hopefully you're not, but if you are, it does help you manage all that. That's the intent here. Same with the photos. Now the photos can take up a lot of space. The quality of the cameras are much higher than they used to be. So those are probably going to be one of your biggest culprits. If you have a lot of photos, that's going to probably take up most of the space here, or a lot of models as well. So you could choose, hey, I only want the past 30 days worth of photos, or the 60 days, or no photos, or just all of them. I don't have a lot of photos in my project, so I just keep everything loaded there. Now, you can control the files area, but what it will say here is that you can only do this when you first download the project. And that just means here, you always have full control over how you're going to synchronize the files. You just do it at the files area. But when you first bring a project in the very first time, it will then ask you, oh, would you like to bring all the files and folders in now, or are you just going to get them as needed later? So it just gives you that option initially. So good stuff there. And if you go up to your name up on the right-hand corner here, it's going to show your name. You can log out of the account, and you can also look at the storage, right? You see, well, how much is used by my app and how much is available on my device. So it just helps you see that, and then it lets you see the individual projects here and what's there. Like what are we syncing from that project? But again, this is just a good way to keep an eye on your device, and if you're working on several projects, do you have enough space? So definitely lots of tools to help manage that process. So again, the key to the app here is that you're working offline. What you do is you synchronize your data with the app so that you don't have to have an internet access on the job site, especially if you're in remote locations and things like that. You'll have internet access in your job site trailer, but maybe not on the job site itself, right? No cellular, maybe, whatever. So whether it be on your phone or your tablet, you can of course synchronize the data. So I can force it to refresh right now. And that will take anything that's in the cloud and pull it down to my device, and anything that's on my device that isn't yet in the cloud will be synchronized up, right? So you can come to this page at any time, and as long as you have internet access, you can synchronize your data anytime you like. So now I'm going to go into the project. And whenever you're brought into the project, you're going to be taken to this home page. And this is really going to depend on what products that you have when you're working in here. If you just have Docs, you're going to see a lesser selection of tools here. Whereas I'm in a build project here, so I have all the tools that are available to me. So along the bottom, we're going to see the ones that are used the most often. And if you hit the More button here, you see all the rest of the available tools here that are available for you to use out in the field. So again, that home page though is just going to be your heads up display of, well, these are all the things you need to pay attention to right now. So just like when you're on the web app, if I'm out in the field, hey, I have 56 overdue issues assigned to me personally. I have 7 overdue RFIs, 3 overdue submittals, 68 issues assigned to me personally, 56 of which are overdue. If I look down here, this is project work. So if I'm a manager and I have access to all this data, I know that for this project, I have 173 issues that are overdue, 12 overdue RFIs. I have 297 ongoing issues in total, but 173 of them are overdue. So again, this just gives me that quick heads up display here. These are things I need to pay attention to right now. And of course, when you click on any of these, it'll take you in this case to the issues filtered to issues assigned to me personally and that are overdue. If I go back to the home page and if I hit 7 RFIs, these are the 7 RFIs that are assigned to me personally and are overdue. They're waiting for a response and so on. So it's just a quick way to go in there and get to the things that I really need to pay attention to right now. And hey, I was working on a sheet yesterday, whatever. These are all the recently viewed sheets. It lets me take me directly to like things I've just done recently. So really handy page right here. So going along the bottom, I'm going to start with files because that's what's available to everyone. If you're, no matter what tool you're using, everyone has access to the files area, whether it be Docs, Collaborate Pro, or Autodesk Build. So here, first of all, it's a super viewer, as I like to call it. So you can view, here's my design models. As long as they're shared with me, I could open my design model up and pick the model I'd like to take a look at, and on either my phone or my tablet, I have access to my recent design model here. And I can, of course, zoom in. That little circle thing to the right is actually a top-down view of a joystick. So as you move this around, you can use this to basically navigate and walk around in your model here. And you'll notice on the right there under that picture of a house is a little blue icon with little feet on it there, indicating I'm in the walking mode. I'm walking around my model here. Now, of course, I can also just rotate with my finger, not using the joystick, to kind of change my head position, and then use the joystick to continue that walking. I can pick an object, I can focus on it, isolate it, get properties for it, so all the information that's in Revit is available to me at my fingertips here. I could even go to the foot tool there, click on this, and see that little kind of spinning icon next to the feet. Now, basically, I'm using my iPad like a virtual reality or augmented reality device, where I'm just picking this up and moving this in space, and I'm moving it like my head. So I could be standing at a certain place and then maybe see, hey, what's behind this? So when I look at that object there, that ceiling, I could turn it off. I don't need to see it and so on. Now I'm just back in my regular mode here. And I could hide that ceiling, and now I can see all the ductwork and everything that's up there. So it's a very powerful tool for just viewing your models. And in play here, if I go into the little hamburger menu there, I could see the other views, and I can go to the 2D views, and now I can get to my Revit 2D sheets. And I can see that information here too. So again, you have access to that data. And like I said, this is kind of a universal viewer. So now not everything can be viewed on the tablet, mind you, but a lot of file types can. I can look over here and, oh, sorry, wrong thing. I want to go into my other general documents right here. And also with the project files, I could choose here, I want to download everything in project files. So this is actually where you control what you're downloading. Now, if something is not on the tablet, when you go in there, it can download it on demand if you have internet access. Because again, the models could take up a lot of space. So again, they're not going to take up as much space as a full-fledged real Revit model. This is a published model. But again, management here is at the file folder level. See, I can come to this folder and say, hey, download all the information. Always keep this folder up to date, or not, right? Only get things on demand. So if I want a file in here and I go into one of these files, there may not be anything in there, or if there is, it may be grayed out and I want to pull it down, right? So I don't think I just have really, yeah. So this file here, for instance, this Revit file is not on the device right now, but if I pick it, it's downloading it on demand instead if I have internet access. So it's downloading that. It'll let me know when it's completed there. So it just, like I said, it just gives you a lot of control over what you can see here. Now, another thing here, and again, I'm speaking to just Docs or anyone who has access here. So if I open up a drawing, or a file. That's a report here. Let's go to one of my other drawings. There we go. So here for a PDF, and I stress that, I do have the ability to create issues and add them here. Again, even if you're just a Docs user, and I have the ability to use my markup tools. So I can mark things up and so on, and hey, that needs to move over here and such, right? So all of this can, of course, be done just using a Docs license on a PDF. Now, just be aware that if the PDF already has markups, you won't be able to mark it up in the field, right? So it has to be a kind of a pristine version of the document. If someone had marked it up on the web, then you would not have that ability. Just be aware of that. But again, a Docs user, just using Docs, can open a PDF document up and they can mark it up and create issues. So that's another little nice feature there. So the files are, of course, though, all the supporting documents. Hey, I need to pull a spec up, and I need to know information about my doors, and I need the door spec, and I pull my door spec up here. And I have, of course, all my sheets there and pages. And you can get to that information if I need to. So again, all the data for the project is, at your fingertips. Or I want to go over here into my cut sheets, and I need information on the pump, and I needed to get down here to the brochure for it. I needed some data about the engineering requirements of this pump here. So I need to go to the specs here and check some things. But again, all the data is at my fingertips. I keep hearing people say, oh, how do I print out a report? And I'm going, why are you printing a report out? Because this is the report. This is your issue list. Now, reports are useful, though, if you want to send them to people outside of the system. Very useful for that. But for day-to-day usage, there's just no need of these reports. The system itself is the log. It is the report. So again, moving on here, we get the files. The sheets are probably the next most common area that people go to. And this is now we're getting into pretty much build. So the issues markups and PDF marking up, that's just Docs. Everything else now just about is going to be strictly a build feature, with the exception of the meetings and correspondence. Those are available also to Collaborate Pro. So again, we also have these things called collections and sheets. So I might have two buildings, right? So I could have an outbuilding here where I just don't have any sheets in it yet. And then I have my primary building here, and then I have my structural, architectural, mechanical, all that information is here. And of course, I can go into one of my sheets, which I've already heavily marked this up and taken photos and all of those things. So again, if I zoom in a little bit here, so I see an issue. It's a PL, punch list. Well, let's see what that is. And right here, this is it's trade damage, it's drywall and paint. There's a bad paint job there. Maybe someone hit it with a ladder as some other person was working around there, or whatever. So that's been documented, and maybe someone needs to take a photo right now, and I could use the camera to take a photo, or I could add a photo using the camera, selecting from the photo library on the device, or picking from one of the project photos that is someone already took the photo yesterday and they haven't brought it in, or it's on my device. So when I come in here, I could use my photo library instead. And maybe the damaged paint was, maybe next to the switch right there. So I'll just hit done there. So that's been added to my issue right in the field there. And again, I might just want to document something. So I come over here and I took a photo just to prove and to show that the ceiling fan in the restroom has been installed and it looks good as per it's supposed to be installed by, right? Or over here, I may have taken some photos. Hey, I wanted to show that the contractor just did a really great job on the HVAC and everything here. It's wonderful condition, very organized, very neat, really happy with this. And I wanted to document that was completed properly, right? Or anytime I see a photo, I could be an observation that I just saw or something, and I could add a photo to that. And again, this is all key here. You're usually walking around, looking at things, documenting problems, whatever. And then the key here is you might have to set, you don't have to do this now, but hey, I need a due date. This needs to be done by the 29th, and I'll set that. And, who needs to do this? So I need to assign this to, this was assigned to the MEP Installers Incorporated, but I hadn't put a due date on that yet. But what's the root cause? And maybe it was, a problem with quality, a design flaw, housekeeping, whatever. It could have been a safety issue. a bad design, a coordination issue, maybe there was a code compliance issue going on there, and I have to take a photo of that. And is it part of a punch list package, if that's even part of what this is, and so on. And then, do I need any supporting documents, right? That's the key here of Build, is that it's interconnected to everything. So I can come in here and I could connect this to a file in the files area. That's what this is. These are all the different folders and files. I can even connect it to a model indicating that's a problem. Or there's a form that has to be filled out, and I can select an existing form that's already started, or create a new form, or it needs to be connected to an asset in the building, a pump or something along those lines, and so on. So that's, again, one of the superpowers of the software here, is that everything can be connected to everything else. Maybe this problem here, when I go in and I look at references, I need to add an RFI and create an RFI from an issue, right? So I can promote this issue that's somewhat of an informal question to a formal RFI, and either attach it to an RFI that's already in play here, like this one here. I could attach it to that and hit add, or I can create a whole new RFI and attach it to that. So again, everything is very streamlined. And again, when I see a problem, always should put an issue with it. Markups should never be without an issue, so you can track them. And then I could use my markup tool, set my color, and say, hey, this thing here needs to move over here, right? Maybe that's where it needs to move. And I want to make sure as well that everything here is selected. So I go and I select all of that, and I make sure that I pick those markups and I publish them. So now they're available for everyone to see. And then I can use my issue tool to decide what this is. So maybe this is a client feedback, and I put that there in description, and I could say client wants this moved here. So I put that information in. Done. And then who needs to do this? Well, maybe it's the architect, so I'll assign it to the architect, and so on, right? And a due date, all those things. So I'm doing all this work right here. I'm not having to do it more than once, right? Root cause here, and again, it's just document conflict, constructability, design coordination, whatever, client feedback, things like that. And I'm done, and I can track that issue because the markups with it, and so on. And again, I can filter and say, hey, I just want to hide everything, because I just want to see the drawing, plain, nice and clean, right? And then I can come back in and say, well, just only show the issue pins, but not the markups, right? So I can do things like that. So I have a lot of filtering options to make it easy to view when I want to view. I can go to the file cabinet here and look at my revision history and look at an older version. So here's the first version of that document, also warned that it's not the current one. And, oh, well, let's compare it with the most current one. So now I can see all the changes. So in seconds, new set of documents was introduced today. What changed from the documents I had yesterday? That's what changed. Everything in red is new. That's all new. This is all new. So I know all the areas that I need to pay attention to on the job site right now, because these are all the areas that there were some sort of update to those areas. Oh yeah, that we needed to add a door there, make sure we add that door in, and so on. So now I have an instant way to go in and compare sheets and see what's going on. And again, go back in here, revision history, go back to my primary or current release of that document. And if I want to get to other sheets, I just, again, zoom out to the maximum there, and I just pull my finger across this like I'm just flipping through a book. Love it. So easy to get between sheets. And again, when I look at the clock now, oh, what was the last thing I worked at? I want to jump between the A1 sheet and then jump back to the A6 sheet. So it lets you jump between recently viewed things and so on there. Even to the point where if I look at my foundation plan, right, oh, not that one there, sorry about that. I want to get in my foundation plan, here we go. And I'm going to turn on my asset tracking. So now I can see the things, okay, that right there, that is installed. This foundation footing over here, that's in progress. So we started working on it, but it hasn't been poured yet. And I could create different statuses halfway. It's been poured, it's still drying, it's ready for steel to be placed on it, whatever. So I can also connect this to my assets, make these things assets, or just use this tool to basically draw on items here that I can select a shape. Hey, it's going to be a square. This is going to be under concrete footings, like so. So I've set that there, and then I can go ahead and draw, where that thing is going to be. I could just kind of put it right like so. Here we go. So this indicating that that is constructed, right? And then I can come in here and take this thing. Well, what is it? What's the status of this? For footings, it's only in progress or installed. There, now I have a report of what's been done to date so far on this sheet. So it's a kind of a view that you can turn on if necessary there. So again, lots of power in the sheet tool. So looking along the bottom here, all those issues that were created are here. So here are all the issues that I created. I can go in and I can clear all the filters as it was filtered to me here. I can go in and I can sort descending, depending on the latest ones I want. So here are the latest issues right here. And I could also say, well, I only want to see issues that are either open or we're waiting for information. It's some client feedback right there. There's information on that issue. There's a safety infraction that happened on February 21st there and so on. There's a paint issue that I may have showed before. There's that light switcher showing where the paint damage was on the wall. And look right up in the corner there, placement A1. I can take that and go right to the sheet. Go to the sheet. Takes me to the issue. There it is. That's the one I had picked earlier right there. Takes me right to that issue. I can see where it was, and then I still have my issue list up here. Hey, I want to take a look at that one over here. Is this related to anything on a sheet? Oh, this is actually talking about something on a shop drawing over there for the anchor bolt, okay? There's a round duct here. There's actually a conflict. The shaft over here needs to be moved, and is it attached to anything? No, it's not. So maybe I need to go in there and add a sheet to this later because it's not referencing anything. So again, just really powerful tool. Again, I have access to all of this data at my fingertips. I don't have to go searching for instant access to all of this. Moving on down the line, look at some of the other tools here.
Hey, Scott,
yes.
Can you pause real quick? Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Never mind. That was it. Go ahead.
Yep. I know that keeps coming up, but it's a tool I'm testing, so I haven't purchased it yet. So right here, I go to forms now. And this allows me to see any form that I need to fill out. And that's what this is. This would be your daily reporting, safety forms, quality control forms, things like that. So these are all forms these are my kind of standard templates that I may have used recently. Or I can look at forms that are currently assigned to me that are in progress right down here. So these are some in progress forms. Here are all the forms. And I could filter by, just show me all the forms that are in review, that I can look at a status that are in review. Means these are forms that it's my job to sign off on it. So here's a finished carpentry form here. It's been filled out, everyone's answered. I checked all the questions have been answered, it looks good to me. So it's my job to either send it back to the editor to fix something that they missed, or I can sign off on this right now and confirm that this form is done. Yep, I'm happy with the forms, save it, and now I move on to the next one I need to review. So right in the field, on my phone, whatever, I can be reviewing the forms, filling them out, right? So again, let me turn off my filter to go back to everything again here. So now maybe I need to fill out my safety report. So I need to fill out my daily safety inspection form, right? So either these are the ones that are in progress, or I can hit the plus sign here and create a whole new form. So down here, am I going to be the one to fill this form out, or am I going to assign this to Alan here? Maybe he needs to fill the form out, right? Again, maybe there's a date. This form has to be done by the 24th, right? So I'm going to set that, the 23rd, we'll set that, and so on. Here's the weather today, or it'll be the weather on the date of the form. If this form is going to be filled out tomorrow, then I can, change the date of that and so on, and it'll be that information. And we'll set that to tomorrow, of course. Set. All right. So now maybe it's tomorrow now, I'm going to fill the form out. Well, I can view it. So this is a PDF form that someone built into the system. Hey, I'll turn my iPad this way, so it's very convenient. Now it feels like a piece of paper. And I can start filling out my form. super easy. I love how simple this tool is. It's just very easy to fill that out, whatever. Notice that it automatically filled out the project number, the project name, the date, the company I work for. Now down here, maybe these parts of this form, oh, in this form, these areas here are non-applicable. So I could actually just edit the form, use my markup tool here, and literally just say, hey, this is this non-applicable stuff right here. We're not using these, and NA. Now this bottom section here is for comments, but maybe it's also for photos. So I can use the photo tool and either use the camera to take a photo or pick a photo from the photo library on this device. So maybe I was documenting something HVAC wise, right, whatever. So I'll just pick this thing again right there, and we'll add that photo to this. And I'll pick high resolution because I want it to be a high resolution photo. And I could place that there, scale it. You know, maybe this is supposed to be for 2 photos. I'll put another one in and so on. Oops, there we go. So that's done. Hey, I finished filling the form out. Let me sign it. Now the form is done and I can save that. I finished my form and I submit it. And either the form is just done at this point or the act of submitting it goes to a manager for approval, right? Now, if I look at the forms where you build it into the system, so that form is a PDF, so it's limited. I can still, if I go back to the form, I go back into my forms here, we'll take a look at the safety again, and we'll look at the daily safety. So when I'm in the form, say I checked off something that required an issue, like if I view this right here, action is required. It was, you know, gloves, or no one was wearing gloves or hard hat protection or hand protection, right? It's a safety infraction. So I'm still in the form. So on the bottom here, I need to create an issue. And it's a safety infraction issue. I'd already started this, so I'm just going to connect it to that one or create a new issue and save it. So now that's been assigned to this form that I filled out. Now, the other types of forms are ones you build into the system. So if I come in here and I do a quality form and I look at my precast concrete, and I'll look at one that's in progress here, right? So right here, as I answer question, plus is fine, right? Non-applicable is fine. But, you know, verify the testing procedure is scheduled and performed at the fabrication source and in the field. Hey, that's never been scheduled, right? So someone hit minus, and as soon as I hit minus, oh, I must create an issue. I can build intelligence into the built-in forms. You cannot do this with the PDF ones. With these ones, these could be multiple choice, whatever, and only certain choices will trigger an issue. Other choices may trigger a photo or require that a photo is done. So right here, I can say later or add it now, but I cannot submit this form. If I try to submit this form, there's all types of problems. First of all of these right here are required. I have to answer them. And certain ones, if the issue is required, see right there, issue required. So I can't submit the form until the requirements of the form are met, meaning every question has been answered, and any question that requires an issue requires that I have to fill out an issue, or I will not be able to submit the form. So again, all of that can be built into your project templates, have master locations to store all your standard forms and manage them all from central locations from a library. And again, I might as well mention here too that the tablet here is all about using the tool. There's no administration or anything like that that happens here. This is strictly using this tool out in the field, right? That's what it's for, or just using it whenever, anytime you want to get data, right? It's not about administering or managing the project, it's about working on the project, and it's solely based on that. So moving on here. So if I look here at the photos, this is just simply the photo log. This is every photo that was taken on this job site right here. So these are all the different photos. And then if I want, I can filter them by, will only show me photos that are referenced by issues. So now I filter this, that all the photos we're looking at right here are connected to issues. They were all generated by issues only. That's how they were created, right? So these are all related to issues that are in the system. Now instead I could say referenced by, and instead of issues, just show me issues that are like on sheets or photos that are on a sheet somewhere. So these would be all like those camera icons. I added the sheets right here. That's what these are. So any one of these is related to a sheet that I just put the camera icon I wanted to document this right here, right? And I can see details of the photo, tags assigned to it, where I physically was when I took that photo right there. See, I was at this convention center in Philadelphia there, and I saw that up, and that'll be a good photo of the store for later. So that's pretty much exactly where I was standing in that building right there. And again, I can see what was referenced to that. It was this right here, and it was to this form was connected to that, and so on. So really powerful tool. Also, if the photo that you were using here, I'm just going to clear my filters, was taken with a geo-aware device, like when I look at my phone knows where it is, right? So this is where all these photos that are in the system were taken. Now, in reality, all the photos would just be on the job site, right? They wouldn't be across the country like this. But again, this was a photo I took, years ago when I was at a convention center in Chicago, but my phone knew where it was. And there's the photo I took, and I took that on August 22nd, 2017. But again, it's all automatic. There's nothing that you need to do. So all the tools you see along the bottom here are the ones that you use most of the time, right? And then any other tools that you need, you go to more, and they're listed here. And the reality is most of these, except for the assets, are probably something you would probably use quite a bit out in the field. The rest of these, maybe not so much, right? Typically RFIs, submittals, the correspondence, the meetings, most of that's really done in the office, right? It's typically not done in the field. Doesn't mean you can't get to it. So it doesn't mean that you cannot get to it, right? So again, I can go to my RFIs and I can actually participate in the RFI process. So this RFI is in review. So in this case, it is waiting for someone, maybe it's me, to provide the answer, right? Here's all the information about that RFI. If I get down here, let's look at another open one here. Or let's see if we can find one that I opened. Here we go. So here's one right here. We just need information about this VAV box right there. And I can submit a response. And then I can specify that this is an answer. And then I can write my responses right here. And I can also view responses. If this is a multiple person RFI, that means that there are multiple people assigned to the review. I can see what the other responders already said. So that's what view submitted responses would let me see if there were any, which there aren't any at the moment. So as soon as I submit this as an answer and type in what my response is, it moves it to the manager, who then can review that as well, right? So these are all RFIs in the various different stages right here. This one has been answered, so now it's waiting for the manager, who is me. I can see what the responses were. Here's the official response. It was answered, and so on. And I can close and distribute that RFI or return it to the reviewer, right? So I can actually do the full RFI process right here. Now, if I look at submittals, on the other hand, this is a viewer. So all you're doing with submittals on the app is looking at it. So right here, this is a submittal that we're waiting for this contractor who's been assigned to this, and he has until March 21st. So we're waiting for John Jones to submit information on the base-mounted pumps. So please provide information on the base-mounted pumps being used in the central mechanical room. So that's what we're waiting for right there. And it's pending John Jones. Here's a closed submittal. So someone needed, I needed information on the anchor bolts. So this is the approved response right there. It's approved. And now I can open that up and I can see that it's been approved by someone there. I can see, the history of this. I can see the process and all the reviews that went through, and then I can see the actual document of the anchor bolts. So there's all the information I need for the submittal. And that's what this tool is for, is as a manager, I might want to go in and say, hey, why is this still open? It might ask me to ask this person, hey, we're still waiting for you to answer this. What's going on? Right here, same here. John Jones, I might call him up and say, hey, we really need you to submit that pump information, and so on. And again, I can filter this by all I really care about is what I don't care about closed items. I care about things that are maybe required, submitted, in review, or just submitted, or just required ones. So required and submitted there. So these are all items that are submitted or required, and we're waiting for them to be pushed to a reviewer. And I can quickly see that. Now that's something though, moving it down the food chain does have to be done on the PC side. So in this case, it's just a way to look at closed submittals, like I showed you, right? And see the status of other things. Now a newer tool here is the correspondence tool. So now I could stop using Outlook on a project and actually do all my emails and everything related to this project here. So these are all the things I might be talking about on the project right there. I go in and I can see that there's just one email for this. It can have assigned to that email a status that it's open, a due date here can be set for that email. You can add, from here, I could add a photo, a file, other things to the photo, to this email. Note that attached to this email is that question about the anchor bolts, and a submittal is connected to this email. I can even just go right to the submittal and read it right there. So here, it's not about replying or anything. This is really also generally just a reader of the email conversations that have happened on this project. So over here, this is an email with 2 responses. There's the first question down the bottom here. There's an attachment someone included. There's a response to that. Here is more details about it. It's open. It was due in June. Were there any photos, files, or there was an issue connected to this particular email? There was an RFI connected. There were 2 RFIs connected to this email. So when that email came in, someone could have promoted the email or used it to generate an RFI from it. So again, but now I have access to all the communication on this project. And we now have the ability to categorize email into self-created categories like owner, communication, problems, RFIs that generated emails, whatever you want. You can organize and sort the emails now. So again, kind of a handy new tool there, right? What type of email is this? This is a general correspondence. So you can see the type up top there. See, it's general correspondence, of which all of these are that. But when I'm creating these emails, I can create my own ways of organizing those. So that's all kind of new features that are built in there. And again, if this is too small, so I can make that and just see the emails, right? This lets me focus on them. And again, back into my list. Or again, going back out to the next tool. Let's look at the schedule tool. So again, in Autodesk Build doesn't create the schedules. It just simply displays the schedule that you created in Microsoft Project, Primavera, whatever your choice is there. Hey, I'm working on HVAC today. So I look up HVAC, I search for that. We're installing the rooftop equipment. So I see the information. We're going to start on January 3rd and it needs to be finished by January 6th, right? Percentage, we haven't started it yet. So maybe it's January 5th right now, and we're almost done. All right, so everything's on schedule. So I'm just going to go over here to the suggestion mode here. So I have this ability to go into a schedule item here, and I can make, scheduling suggestions if I need to. So over here, these are suggestions that are already, in play. And again, when I'm back with the detail of that thing, see where it says suggest updates? Oh, well, we're almost done installing this. So I'm going to come in here and say, is the start date affected? No. Finish date affected? No. And we're maybe at this level of % of complete. And I could submit that. So now that goes to the person who manages the schedules. They will see that. They will be able to see a list of suggestions here. So right there's a suggestion that came in today. Okay, this is in review. Okay, so this is my list. This is something you'd see basically on the PC side. You'd have a list of all the things that you need to manage as a schedule manager. Oh, I see that they've reported that this HVAC work is 80% complete. So I will go into the system, indicate that I will accept the edit. I will make the edit, upload a new schedule, and you'd be able to see the new schedule item here. So again, this is meant to share the schedule with the team. So I could be anywhere, look up the thing that I'm responsible for today, and see what I need to do, the status of things, what has to happen before I can do this. The roof has to be done. When this is done, Then we can connect the HVAC pipes. I might want to take a photo here and document that, hey, it's installed. This is what it looks like. Right here, I have to fill a form out that was attached via the schedule. Here are the assets. Air handling units 1, 2, 3, and 4 are connected to the schedule item. So again, what I was mentioning before, everything can be connected to everything else in the system just about. So now I'm looking at a schedule item, everything related to it, I can pull that data up instantly. So again, this is just information about it, when it was updated. I can filter, again, by milestone, start date, ascending, all those things, right? Moving on. So again, other tools. This is a fairly important one, assets. So assets are anything that you want to essentially track an installation process on. And what you can also do here is that you can add barcodes. You can have a box of pre-printed barcodes, and let's say a VAV box is delivered, or air handling unit, whatever, is delivered on the site. I can stick the barcode on it, pull the air handling unit up in the list here, and then add the barcode to it. That way later, when someone else comes to that palette where all the ready to install VAV boxes are, they would come up to that VAV box here and they would hit the scan button. They would scan the barcode and it pulls up air handling unit number 2, which is what that is. Okay, so, oh, well, we just finished installing and doing the pre-startup test on it. We're now doing functional performance test. That's the status of this air handling unit. I've just set a status for that. Now, if I look at references over here, there was an issue assigned to that. Here's a spec. Oh, here's the spec for that thing. That's handy. Oh, here's the sheet. Where does this air handling unit go? And it goes to that particular sheet. Oh, I see it's up in the corner here. So that's done. So I know where it goes. There was an RFI connected. Oh, here's a form. I need to fill out a form here. This is another schedule activity that this was attached to. So there's the schedule activity that I showed you earlier. You can see it here, right? And again, is it connected to an email, a markup on a sheet? Nope, not in this case. And again, oh, let me fill out a form. So when I work on this HVAC piece of equipment, I have to fill a form out. So I want to come in here and I have to fill out this air distribution form right now. So I've started my form and now I can start answering the questions. You know, this is not applicable, whatever. I have to take a photo of the air handling unit, whatever, and I'm done. So now that form has been connected to the asset. Now, if I go to my filter tool here, I want to filter by asset categories, and I'm going to filter by HVAC equipment, and I'm going to look at the VAV boxes. So that's what I filtered this by right now. So these are all my VAV boxes right here. And I want to select one of them. So this is VAV box right there. It's number 14. Notice that there's that place where you could add the barcode to it if you wanted to. And what actually happened here with this VAV box is someone in Revit created and modeled all the VAV boxes. So they used Revit to create the asset list. So I know that because if I look up in the corner, I see that little box. And that little box means that this was created from a model. And if I click on that, this will take me to the VAV box in the model. So now I know exactly where that VAV box is supposed to go, where it is in the MEP model right there. I pick another one here, click on that, and it takes me to that VAV box. So anything that was created from the model there is going to show up here. Now this thing doesn't have that icon. It's not part of the model. Same here with the footings and things like that. But anything that I have in here that was created from that casework, that equipment, whatever is in the model here, when I pick these objects like this diffuser, it takes me to that diffuser. Or again, when I'm looking at my assets, I just want to filter by the status. So right here, I want to look at the status of my concrete and installed footings right there. So here are my footings, and these are ones that are installed right now. Or again, I can show me all the footings now that are in progress. These 3 are in progress right now. So this can be useful like anything. It could be furniture, casework, equipment, concrete footings, beams, doors, windows, anything that you want to track an installation process on, right? Moving on down the list, there's all the people who are in this project. This needed to know who was in the project. Here's the meetings. These are all the meetings that we're having on the project. This is an agenda. It's a coordination meeting with my MEP engineer. Okay, so I can come over here and look at information, and I could say, who has been assigned to this? It's meeting number 3. It's an agenda. It's supposed to start on February 28th. The location is going to be in the web. Here's the video conference link for it. Here are the people who are invited to the meeting when the meeting starts. Okay, well, I'm the organizer. I made it. John Jones and Sam Smith all made it to the meeting. So I can check that off. I don't want to do that right now because we haven't actually started the meeting yet. Go back to the meeting here. These are the things we're going to discuss, or we started discussing here. I needed to review the basic document management folder structure, how we're going to manage issues, sheets, and photos, and all these other things. So these are the 4 items that we're going to discuss. During that meeting, we did close this item, but items number 3, 4 right here have yet to be closed yet. We're still discussing those, right? So when I create a follow-up meeting from this, anything that is still open, of course, gets moved forward. But the real key here is generally you're not managing your meetings on the tablet, you're using the PC. But if I need to look something up from a meeting, hey, they just had a meeting yesterday, what were the results of that meeting? I could look this up, see the minutes of the meeting here, see everything that was discussed. Okay, what is the length of the 3rd floor joist? We were looking for that. Oh, there it is, 15.3, it's closed, good. Okay, some other items. What is the height? The height is 12 of the 3rd floor columns there, 12.3. Okay, got that information, wonderful. Oh, but we haven't got this size yet. For the actual, what size column are we going to use yet? Well, we have to decide that. It's months late. That was due back in November. And Sam Smith here is the person assigned to it. So I know who to ask, right? So I have all the information about the meetings at my fingertips here. Now, another newer tool here is location. So locations have been part of this tool for a long time. Usually you would use the locations to show me all the issues that are in the 1st floor, show me all the issues that are in the 2nd floor. But what I can actually do now is I can go to the main building here, pick the pharmacy, and show me everything that is in anything that's part of this lab or just in the pharmacy in general. I just pick that. So connected to this pharmacy are 4 forms and 14 issues. So I can see these are the 14 issues now that are related to the pharmacy. These are the 4 forms that are being filled out right here, and so on. So I can use the locations now to see what things are happening in a specific area. Like show me what's happening in the produce area. Oh, there's 12 issues, there's 1 asset and 3 forms that are in play. So what asset are we talking about? Oh, so we're talking about this, base cabinet that's in there, right? And so on. So again, this powerful tool there. So what the locations do, also there's a scan button, and I've seen this on a construction site where they'll put a barcode on a door near a room, and then someone will come up with a tablet, scan the barcode on the door, and all the information about that room comes up. So maybe they're doing a final walkthrough for punch list items. They scan the room. Are there any outstanding punch list items in this room? Are there any pieces of furniture who are not installed yet? Are there any forms that I have to fill out? It's a hotel room, and when the room is fully finished, I have to sign off on it, right? And that's what this could be used for, those types of things. That's why the scanning is there. So, and again, once I'm done doing things, that last step after you work is you always come in and you sync. Say I've made some changes here. So I push all the data and changes I've made back up into the field, and anything new back up into the web, and anything that was new in the web is automatically downloaded to my device. And I can also see how much space my device is taking, or this project is taking on my device right now. So that is the tour, and really that would be all the training you would almost get really on how to use the app. So in less than an hour, I was able to go through almost every feature in this app and go through that. And I just feel that it's very intuitive. There's not a big learning curve for this tool. It just walks you through the things you need to do that you personally have permission to do. So that is it for me today. So I don't know if there are any other questions, Alan, that came in, or
Yeah, Scott, there's a few questions for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably pull up the questions on the dashboard as
Actually,
better than I can.
I don't have access to that for some reason.
Okay, no worries. Well,
so that's why
I think I've answered a couple of them, and I may need to get some insight, and we can probably follow up with these folks because we are running up close to time. But this first question, is there any format of a coordination model that is usable at all in the module of the ACC? Is there any actually works in the ACC app? And I responded, essentially, yes, you can view NWCs and NWDs in both desktop and mobile. You can do various activities with them. You're not seeing them in their quote unquote coordination kind of context with the actual clashes.
Right, you won't be able to see the issues that have clashes in it, but you would not be able to see them in the model itself.
Yes, indeed. Yes. So
you can fully view the models though.
Right, and I have a link to the ACC ideas that I'll post that we will post potentially in the follow-up, or I can maybe get it in the chat. But there's great options or opportunities here for all of us to be able to push ideas out to that knowledge forum and the ACC ideas forum, because everything that's been quoted here in questions are very valuable comments, and some of them, there are options, but is it necessarily exactly what you want? Not necessarily. So I will, I'll get that, or you can Google it. It's the, the ACC Ideas Forum to Idea Board. So another question, can an issue be attached to a piece of equipment or an asset? You can attach a,
absolutely.
Yes, so.
Via the asset, you would go to the asset and attach the issue to it.
Indeed. Indeed. And there's different things you can do. You can attach an asset, or I should say an issue on a PDF. Can you do that in the mobile? Can you do that in the mobile app, Scott? Can we do model-based issue attachment?
No, not model. Nope, only PDFs.
Right. That was the question.
Yep.
And then I did post the add-ins. So another aspect of that is both Revit and Navisworks coordination issues add-in. So those links are there if you want to actually be able to view the issues you're creating in the ACC in context in Navis and Revit. By all means, you can download those add-ins. Yep. This is one I need you to answer. Can an issue be initiated from scanning an asset barcode? I don't think so.
No. All the scanning of the barcode does is bring the asset up, and then once the asset comes up, you could add an issue to it.
Indeed, right.
Because the purpose of the barcode scanning is just to find that specific asset in the list, so you don't have to go searching for it.
Right.
And then once the asset comes up, you can absolutely add an issue to the asset.
Right. And so, can you view assets? Okay, good on there. Can we view assets in the model or on a plan from the mobile device? Yes, on the plan.
On the model, yeah. On the model, that's where it's pulled up from. So when you look at an asset that is derived from the model, so that's the key. It has to be derived from the model. Like I said here, if that item, like this diffuser, was created from the model, that's why I have that icon up on the right-hand corner. And there's where it is. There's the diffuser in the model.
Absolutely.
Kind of faded out there, but you can see where it is. Not on the plan, only in the 3D model.
Right. And again, please, folks, these are great questions and great ideas. So throw those up on the ACC idea board, because this is, we're in some cases reporting to you things that we just reporting to you, whereas we can all work together and try to get these ideas and upvote them so that they can get up the chain and get hopefully into to the product team. Locations have barcodes, I believe so. Can locations have barcodes?
Yes, you
Okay,
can put a sticker on a wall and then assign that barcode to the location. That's the whole point of the locations here. And that's why there's a scan button there. So I could scan a barcode that's on a wall, and that I'm assuming that that wall is for that room, that area, and everything associated with it would come up.
right. Model coordination, just out of the box, no. Model coordination is not accessible from the ACC app. I guess you could
Correct.
attempt. You
can see all the issues and you can see the models. And in the model coordination tool, you have the ability to take a specific collection of models that you're using for clash detection and save them as a view, which I've done. I think I did it in here. Yeah, I forget where I put this here. But there's a place where you're able to share a coordination view into a folder here. Just can't
Absolutely.
remember what I did that with. Someone added a weird folder in there.
So these are great questions. We really appreciate them. We do have to run up. We are running up on time. We have a lot of you still here, and I appreciate that. Ultimately, please send us responses as far as maybe you want to do this again, and we can focus on certain aspects of the mobile app. But really, mobile app or desktop. Really, if there's anything you want us to dig a little bit deeper into, as far as the app goes and the desktop and the ACC generally, whether it be build or takeoff, etc. By all means, please let us know, and we really appreciate your time. But we do want to respect everyone's time, and ultimately, thank you for showing up. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.